Hello and welcome to my show. Today we're going to be talking about a very, very interesting subject, a subject that I've been very curious about my entire life. What is our soul purpose? And what is this energy stored in us called Kundalini? I have a very special guest with me today. Her name is Elizabeth. She's a soul purpose healer, she's a clairvoyant. She also has clairaudience, and she's here today to talk to us about what is the meaning of soul purpose, how can one find their soul's purpose, and also give us some tips and tricks on how to tap into their Kundalini energy. So let's welcome Elizabeth. Welcome, Elizabeth. How are you?
I'm fabulous. Thank you so much for having me today.
No, thank you so much for coming on the show today and, enlightening us with like such a special topic. I think a lot of people these days are lost in social media and their jobs, and they're forgetting to tap into their real purpose. And I feel like any kind of light or help we can get from people like you all who are enlightened in some way uh, is always great.
Yeah, for sure. I'm excited for this conversation today.
So, Elizabeth, before we tap into, what is the soul's purpose, can you tell the listeners a little bit about yourself and, how you got into this? When was the first time you realized that you have this special gift?
So I actually have always known I've been, more psychic or intuitive at a very early age, and I've always had some sort of psychic in my life, whether it be through like my mom's friend or a colleague or whatever it is. And I started to get this nudge, this urge. I had been working with my mom since college for 16, 15 years and was supposed to take over her company, like very safe and a job I was doing since college. And I did enjoy it, but I started to just feel like this isn't what I'm supposed to be doing here. This isn't my passion. This isn't an industry that I'm passionate about. I'm here to do more in a bigger way, to help people in a deeper way. And so I started to get this pull. And then I was like, but I'm a business major. Like, I have no idea what that is. And I've always been drawn to kind of like the spiritual world. And I hadn't really done much with it, tried to, but never really could focus on developing my psychic gifts and all those things. And then when the world shut down in 2020 and we all had so much time on our hands, it finally was like time for me to do that. And so that's kind of when I had like my bigger like spiritual awakening. And I had been dabbling in manifestation and mindset and kind of things before that, but really started to study and started to actually do these things. And I, signed up with a mentor who helped me develop my psychic abilities and my intuitive energy healing abilities. I then took a course on mindset manifestation, became a certified coach, and then I also became certified in additional healing modalities. And so now I really have, like, my purpose has evolved over the years of stepping into this soul purpose activator and spiritual mentor. And then also I use my healing abilities with all the different modalities that I use. So it's really been a multifaceted journey for me. But I'm so grateful that I took the risk and listened to that nudge, right? My mom has been nothing but loving and supporting through the whole thing and completely understanding. So it's been wonderful.
Thank you so much for sharing that with us. Do you think this is something that has been passed down to you? Because I've spoken to two other clairvoyants, and it seems like this is something that's coming down from generation to generation. It's a gift given to the family.
Um, Honestly, I think, well, for starters, everyone has psychic abilities. Everyone
Okay.
has them. They're innate. They're in us. It's just whether or not, they're stronger in some, or you choose to develop them or not, right? But obviously there are some people that I feel through generations come in more, quote unquote awake, right? Where like
Mhm.
they just are there. My mom is, someone who can see, when she allows it, can see spirits and stuff like that, but she doesn't usually turn it on. So, and I don't really know much past her if there's more lineage of psychics or, intuitives or anything, but she's very intuitive as well. So it is interesting how it does get passed down. And the same thing with like my husband's family. They do also have those intuitive abilities empaths for sure, very empathic on both sides. And my kids now too are both very empathic and just have abilities of their own, which is so beautiful. And when I first developed my psychic abilities, I think I did like 50 free practice sessions just because like it's so easy for you to doubt yourself. Like, is
Mhm.
this real? Am I really getting this information, or am I just making it up out of my head? And then when you start to practice and you meet with people and they're like, oh my gosh, like that's so spot on, you just can't doubt yourself anymore. You know what I mean? You just have to trust that what is coming through, the messages that are coming through, the things that you're seeing are like what they're supposed to hear in the moment, right?
All right. So, the first question is, what is the soul's purpose? And what is your interpretation of the soul's purpose as a healer?
Yeah, I love this question. For me, over time, I really learned our what I believe to be true is that our soul's purpose, our main first foremost soul's purpose is to grow and to expand. Is that we came here to experience life in this human experience. We are a spiritual being having this human experience, and that we decided to come here to learn certain things and to experience certain things and to grow and like evolve our awareness and our consciousness, right? And really learning all the things, how we can love deeper, how we can have more compassion for others. That for me is our biggest soul purpose. And so if you are someone that is doing a 9 to 5 and you're hearing this, well, I'm fine, I'm happy, like I feel fulfilled, that's beautiful. It's your soul's purpose doesn't always have to be a vocation, right? It doesn't always have to be how you make money or how you bring an income. It could be maybe you're here to help others through service of charity work or just being a mom, right? That's a huge soul's purpose. And while many of us, are moms and doing this work as well, sometimes that could be just what you're here to do, and that's okay. So it really is what excites you the most, what lights you up the most in this moment, and it will continue to grow and evolve over time. I truly believe. So, like, we could say, well, your soul's purpose right now is to be a healer. Well, that doesn't mean that you have to do that for the rest of your life, right? It can change, it can grow and evolve, like mine has since I've started this journey, because I've had to up level and grow and expand in order to be this mentor that I am now, right? I wouldn't be able to be the mentor that I am today 5 years ago when I started this journey. I had to take those steps and kind of almost follow the breadcrumbs to like the next level.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. You said that the soul's purpose is generally to grow to grow and to learn. What I've noticed is that people learn the most, and that lesson has a long lasting effect on human beings when they're suffering, or they've been through a trauma, or they've lost someone. It's usually related to some kind of suffering, and that lesson kind of makes them grow in a beautiful way. So, do you think that's related? Like, are you becoming more like spiritual when you're like getting closer to your soul by learning these like tough lessons?
So I like to use the term challenge rather than or contrast rather than
Mhm.
suffering, right? Because for me, suffering is a very it makes it seem like it's a bad thing, right?
Mhm.
And it can feel not so great in the moment, a hundred
Yeah.
percent, right? And not saying that you haven't suffered or been through traumas, they are real things, of
Mhm.
course, right?
Mhm.
But when we can take those lessons from those experiences and turn them into, what did this shape me as who I am today, right? And so, yes, I do agree with what you're saying is like those challenges that we have been through, the things that we have overcome, 100% help us learn, help us grow, help us expand. And also, I do have a belief that we come here with agreements to help other souls in their journey and their spiritual journey of growth and expansion as well. And so it's kind of like this big connection of like, what do they call it? Like the
Soul
web.
family.
Yeah, like, well, soul family, but also that web of connection where like all these things that we're connected with help each other learn. And so sometimes we agree to go through that trauma kind of thing as a soul to be able to help that other person learn whatever lesson they need to learn, right? But the thing is, it's like we put meaning to everything, right? I truly believe that God, universe, spirit, source, whatever you resonate with, it doesn't put like good or bad. It doesn't know the difference between good or bad, small and large. We decide as humans what is good and what is bad. So for me, coming from this place of neutrality, when I am faced with contrast or something that doesn't feel so great after the moment, right? Because in the moment, it's very difficult to be like, okay, like, let's not be upset, right? But after, like, we kind of process the moment of what happened, the experience, how can we return to neutrality so that we can see how is this here to help me? What is this doing for me rather than to me?
So every lesson learned in life kind of gets you closer to your soul's purpose. Does
I mean,
that
I
make
think
sense?
I think you're living your soul's purpose all the time. I don't think it's like a destination, it's a journey,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
100%. I don't feel like it's not like you get there and then you're done. I feel like you continue to learn and grow until like in through the entire lifetime that you're here until your soul feels it's complete in whatever it came here to do, and then that's when you transition on.
And how does spirituality fit into this? Should people be religious or have like a spiritual routine or believe in something or have faith in something? Is that very important?
I mean, it really depends on who you are and what you believe in, because I never will say any belief is right or wrong because it's your beliefs, right? So you can be religious and be spiritual, you can be spiritual and not religious. It is yours and yours alone. So I'm not really here to tell you what to believe. I can tell you what I believe and what helps me get through the day as far as when things don't go that well, what I have faith in, right? I have faith in that I'm always divinely guided and supported, for example. So spirituality is really about connecting to yourself, finding your true voice and your inner voice, your soul, right? So it's being able to connect to that higher consciousness that you are ready to receive. I don't know if that makes sense to you.
No, it does make sense. And I think spirituality could also mean that you are just trying to do the right thing and just having set um, rules, like set of rules in your life that you abide by. Like, I don't want to gossip, and I just want to be positive, and I want to be
Yes.
healing, and that could also be spirituality. And I do feel like that kind of does give you the right, like you said, inner voice. The inner voice then kind of just guides you to the right path
Yeah.
to your soul's purpose. Uh, if somebody was feeling lost, whether it's through a challenge in life or whatever it is, how does one tap into that energy, and that how does one find that soul's purpose?
Yeah, there's many ways to try to find your soul's purpose, but for me, it was really just taking time and to going into meditation, like and quieting my mind, quieting my ego, the monkey mind that doesn't ever stop talking. And for me, it was taking time to meditate every day, going inward and asking spirit. And again, whatever higher power you resonate with, whether it be source, universe, spirit, for me, at the time, I think it was spirit, and I also talk to God a lot. I do believe in, they're all, for me, it's universal. I kind of use them interchangeably, those terms, but connecting to this higher power and asking for the guidance, asking for the opportunities to come into your existence, into your awareness, to help you find what it is that you're supposed to be doing in this moment, your soul's purpose, right? Showing you the way. And so for me, by doing that, I was found myself in a Facebook group and found my first mentor, my psychic development teacher, through that Facebook group by booking a free session. And then I was on TikTok and saw my next mentor who helped me master manifestation and mindset work, right? And so it was for me really allowing these things to come into my awareness at the perfect timing. And then really, like I said earlier, it's following what excites you the most. Like, what lights you up? What do you have fun doing? What are you interested in? what do people come to you for, like, help if it's like being of service of someone, right? I've always been a leader in groups and in, high school, like captain of the softball team, taking initiative and doing the things first. So I've always been in that kind of leadership role, and really of helping others too. Even like, I'll give you a quick example. Like when I played softball my senior year, and I started to not do as well, but I was the captain. But I never let that stop me from helping others feel better when they weren't doing well, right? Because that was my role as that leader. So it's really just finding those things that light you up, that people come to you for help with, that excite you, and letting go of those things that no longer make you feel good.
Do you think people who are depressed or, have like really low moments in life, which are for extended periods of time, are living a life that's contrary to their soul's purpose? And that is why they're so unhappy. You brought up a great point. You said, find something that lights you up, find something that makes you happy, right? So do you think people who are not happy are living a life that's contrary to their soul's purpose?
I do. I think that over time, society and our parents, our kin with a love have conditioned us to believe certain things that are not for our soul's truth, right? That are not for our highest good. And of course, like, I don't regret going to college, but it wasn't, if you go to college, it was, what college are you going to? Right. So it was always just like I did what I was told that, but in the end, it did shape me. So I never regret the things I went through, but it's really like looking at, you know, in finding that faith and that belief in a higher power, that I don't have to let the outside world dictate how I feel anymore. I get to decide how I feel. And learning about manifestation and mindset completely changed my life about being a worrier. So I do think it's really just, that level of awareness and consciousness and being able to see that and be able to shift. That's what helps you get out of that low energy, that low vibration, and then realizing, finding what makes you happy, right? Finding those things that actually do make you happy.
Oh, that makes total sense. We mentioned Kundalini briefly in the beginning of the podcast, but from what I know is that it is a very strong energy within all of us, that can be tapped into to live our best life.
Yes.
Um, in very simple terms, can you explain what actually is Kundalini,
Yeah.
and how do you use it to become a better person or just connect with your soul's purpose?
Yeah, so Kundalini is this energy that we're all born with that pretty much becomes dormant over the years because of conditioning from society of being small, being quiet, right? Like, don't use your imagination, get your heads out of the clouds, all the things. And it eventually becomes dormant. And it's said to have, like, be at the base of our spine, kind of just sitting there waiting to be awakened. It is our inner life force. It is what makes us who we are, our true essence, our true voice. And again, like, who we're supposed to be in this life. And I think a lot of people, when they hear Kundalini or Kundalini awakening, they can sometimes be scared of it because there's, beliefs or stories out there of like crazy spirit Kundalini awakenings that are very hard for people, right? And yes, if it does get awakened very abruptly, it can be life altering for people and they get shook. But as a Kundalini practitioner, that's why we do Kundalini yoga, because it gently awakens the energy. So it's more a soft awakening of this inner life force rather than this like light switch, and all of a sudden you're like, all this energy is buzzing and your body doesn't know how to handle it. It doesn't know how to hold it. So that's why with yoga we awaken it slowly. But there's so many benefits of awakening your Kundalini energy. And yes, it is, awakening your soul's purpose, stepping into your soul's purpose, but it's connecting with your intuition. It's expanding the capacity of your nervous system, neural, like plasticity, so that you can handle more challenges and more contrast when they do come to you, because a lot of times our nervous systems are so like condensed, and we can't handle the things that come into our bodies, into our life and our emotions, and our nervous system becomes dysregulated. And that's where like you see the elevated cortisol levels, like the, you know, you can't sleep, the snappiness, right, especially at our kids or our husband or whatever, because our nervous system is so frazzled. But so by awakening this, it helps flow the energy through all of our meridian points, our meridians that go through our bodies, our chakras. So we have this beautiful flow of our life force energy that helps us with all of these things. Like I said, intuition, soul's purpose, creativity, right? Joy. There's just so many benefits to it. I could go on forever.
I've heard that it is something that should not be done without a mentor. And like you said, it should be slow awakening.
Yes, absolutely.
Uh, I want to understand, and I know you've not done the quick awakening and you've not done it like without someone, but when you did it the way you did it,
Mhm.
what was the feeling the first few months? How did you feel different from what you were earlier and now? And how do you know that it's opening up? And is it something that needs to be done regularly to keep it?
Open.
Yeah.
Yeah, so those are all really good questions. So when I first started this certification for my practitioner certification, we did a morning practice every for 40 days for 2.5 hours, and so it was intense. It was, you know, that practice alone, that dedication, that discipline was intense, but the actual awakening of the Kundalini energy also, to be completely honest, was like a roller coaster. Like some mornings I felt like $1 million, like I felt great. And other mornings I was very emotional, because we're kind of like through that process, you're releasing what no longer serves you from your energetic body and your physical body too. So with that, you're also shedding all these limiting beliefs. So they're going to come to the surface that you have stored down deep within your body and your subconscious mind. So that's why it's helpful to have a mentor as you go through this, because they can help you through an understanding what is happening when you're having a day where you're just, you know, really emotional and you don't know why, or how to see through that. So that's kind of how it was for me. But in the end, was feeling just more powerful, more intuitive, and more connection with myself, and having a greater capacity for love, a greater capacity to receive love, you know, my manifestations, abundance. And also for me, the biggest thing at noticing too is just more patience in my life with my kids, right? And my husband, being more present with them, and really just being there for them as their mom. And something I, you know, for me had a realization just recently is I never really resonated with like being a mom as my soul's purpose. Like I was like, yes, I'm a mom and I love being a mom, like, and I love my kids to death, but that's not my main thing here. I'm here to help others and XYZ, right? But just recently realizing that like that I wasn't here to be their mom, but they were put on this earth to help me grow in love and patience and compassion. And that is the greatest gift I could ever be given. And I don't practice every single day. I practice when it feels good for me. I usually do practice most days of the week. And your practice doesn't have to be very long. It could be 10 minutes, it could be 3 minutes, it could be 30 minutes, right? It could be an hour. Really, it's what your body needs in the moment, what feels good to you. And I don't believe you have to keep doing the practice to keep the life force awake, but I do believe you have to have some sort of spiritual practice daily, or, you know, most days, to keep that connection open, to keep that energy flowing, to feeling that connection to yourself and the higher power.
When someone is saying, like, when we go for advice to healers or spiritual leaders, they say, meditate. That will make you more intuitive. That'll provide peace. You'll be a happier person. How is normal meditation different from Kundalini? Because
Yeah.
it seems like you're basically doing the same thing. So does Kundalini have a different rule book, or what is the difference?
So for me, meditation is a restful activity. It is a restful activity where you are sitting and it could be also, you could do meditations like walking meditations, but basically you're trying to clear your mind. You're trying to clear your mind and open your mind to receive information and to kind of just quiet the noise, right?
Mhm.
So for Kundalini yoga, it is very active. We are doing exercise sets, what we call kriyas, and they're different hand positions. They're at different body positions and body locks, and sometimes there's mantras that we recite, and there's different movements that we're doing sometimes. So it is very active, and especially if you're reciting a mantra, that's not, you're clearing your mind, but you're not really clearing your mind because you're focusing on the mantra. But what it's doing is it is tapping into and activating different meridian points in your body. It's putting pressure on different meridian points on your body to activate your pineal gland, your pituitary gland, where we're receiving that intuition, right? And then, yes, there is time for meditation, of course, of where you're at the end silent and just allowing it to come in. But it's doing so much of the somatic work that our physical bodies need in order to expand our capacity to receive all the things that we want, all that we desire, all the things that we're faced with in life, and that intuitive messages be able to come through.
Okay, that makes sense. So it's more of a physical act
Yes,
rather than just in your mind.
yes,
Um,
yes, yes.
we again briefly talked about soul family, not much, but I mentioned it. I want to understand, what is a soul family? Do people, everyone who is in our life right now, whether it's friends, acquaintances, come for a reason, fulfill that purpose, and leave? Um, so, what is that soul family? What is that reason?
Yeah, I do believe that we have kind of like a soul family of those people that we incarnate with, those souls that we incarnate with, more like
Mm-hmm.
lifetime after lifetime, maybe in different roles, and like I know I've incarnated with my father a couple times, just, from past life regressions I've done. And I'm sure I've incarnated with like my husband before, and all these different people that are in my life now. I do believe that people come into our lives for a reason, and they may not be a part of our soul family, but I do believe that all the people that we come into contact with in our lives are for a reason, for some greater purpose, whether it just be, to make you aware of something, right? Or to help you through the hard day. But yeah, those soul families are those, kind of souls that you have these agreements. Okay, I'm going to help you with this to learn this in this lifetime, and then this is going to be my role and this is going to be your role.
So, we talked about soul's purpose, we talked about Kundalini. You mentioned past life regression, and we can wrap up after this.
Yeah.
Uh, is that even real? I've thought of doing it for a very long time. I haven't
Mhm.
been able to find the right person to help me do it.
Mhm.
Uh, but does that help you heal?
It
Uh,
can. It can. I also do past life regressions for my clients. And so it can help you heal. It can help show you, like, if you're repeating a pattern, for instance, in life, like, why does this keep happening? Or why did this
Mhm.
happen in my life? And we could go into past lifetimes and see where something similar happened in a past life. And so it's kind of like we take, like you said, it happens generational, through our DNA. And we can, if we, I truly believe, like, if we don't learn the lessons we are meant to learn, with something happened, those lessons will continue to repeat themselves over and over and over again until we finally learn the lesson and we can then change the pattern, right? So that's why I believe that becoming aware of that, what the lesson is that this situation was trying to teach us, which you can experience in a past life. And it's very, it's not like this huge thing where it's re-traumatizing, or it's different for everybody how they experience it, but being able to really understand what happened and why it happened and what the lesson was there is going to help you be able to release it. And in the moment, for me at least, we can send love and light to that, and divine light to that situation where you're feeling it in your body, and help you release it fully so that you can let go of that past trauma, that past experience, and move on and learn the lessons and take them moving forward.
So, two things. Do we have the ability to make amends in this lifetime if we see something that needed to be fixed from the past life? The other thing is, I personally feel that healing happens over time.
Hmm.
Time heals, I do not think that um, my mom is a Reiki healer, okay?
Hmm.
And she sends a lot of healing to us. And she's also in like this circle where they do remote healing and all of that. And sometimes she tells me, oh, I've sent healing to you. I believe her, and I know she's a very, very spiritual, very positive person. But for me, the thing that's worked the most has been time.
Hmm.
So when someone is doing past life regression, I just can't wrap my head around the fact that it just heals you instantly, like just knowing that
And
this is what happened in the past will heal you. What,
yeah,
what is your opinion on that?
and so this might be a lot to digest or even wrap your head around, and it's sometimes it is hard for me to wrap my head around it, but time is an illusion. Time is a man-made construct that we've developed, right? And so we decide as a human how much time things are going to take. And like for instance, my manifestation mentor, she truly believes she can change a belief in an instant. She can decide she's going to believe something different, and that's her new belief. That's a belief that she's cultivated and has, instilled in her life. And so I truly believe that yes, some healing can definitely take time, because also there are different layers to that healing that you can take. And so like I have a girlfriend who does past life regressions, and she usually does a minimum of 3 sessions, right? Because she believes that it takes at least 3 sessions to get to that root cause and to really release that and let that go. And that's beautiful. The same thing with like Reiki and other type of modalities, right? You can do multiple sessions on one thing to really get through the layers. And like when my father passed away, I think I've gone through like probably like 4 or 5 different times where I've tried to heal those wounds from that, right? So there's definitely layers, but you can cultivate the belief that you can heal anything immediately if you want it to be, right? Because we are divine beings and we are born perfect. And so we have that ability to be perfect if if we choose to let go of those subconscious wounds, those subconscious, beliefs. But again, our human doesn't always let us, and that's okay. So it's not wrong or right. It's whatever is right for you, right? But you have to have that belief. If you don't believe that the healing that you're receiving is actually working, then it's not going to work.
No, that makes total sense. To end things, if someone were to begin this journey of finding their soul's purpose and just tapping into their spiritual side, what are few things they can do immediately on their own to really like begin that journey?
For me, when I started meditating, I used YouTube, honestly, and did guided meditations. I would start with like a 10-minute meditation that was guided to help kind of quiet my mind and because it kind of teaches you how to bring yourself down to a lower brainwave state, right?
Mhm.
And quiet your mind and sit and still. Breathing helps so much, making sure you're taking those grounded breaths anytime you want to start tapping in. I always tell my clients 4 counts in, hold for 4 counts, release for 4 counts, and do that 4 times. That's going to help
Could you
quiet
repeat
your.
that?
Yep.
4 counts in.
Yep. 4 counts in, hold for 4 counts, release for 4 counts. We do
Okay.
that 4 times. That's going
Okay.
to help quiet your thoughts because you're concentrating on counting, right? And just slowing your heart rate down and building your capacity, your brainwave capacity, and lowering that down. And finding a mentor too, of course, is going to be able to help you. Someone that's a spiritual mentor, a meditation place that, those places are centers that are spiritual centers that help teach meditation or about spirituality. Those are usually pretty low cost in your community, are great ways to start. And getting in, to online communities for people that want to explore spirituality is a great start too.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Elizabeth.
Yeah.
Where can people reach you if anybody needs help with tapping into this side of their life?
Yeah, so I'm on all the socials under my full name, Elizabeth Plancon. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and then my website is elizabethplancon.com. You can reach out to me, email me, DM me. I would love to connect with you. I also have a free Facebook group where I do trainings in there and different activations. I also have a free resource page on my website where there is 3 different resources. One for manifestation and mindset, like your manifestation guide. There is a find your soul purpose activation on there, as well as a intro to Kundalini yoga practice on there as well. And those are all free.
Yeah, I need to join that group first.
Definitely. I would love to have you inside of there. It's community. We allow promotion on Saturdays if you're an entrepreneur. And I'm taking the summer off from I do have a soul alignment sessions where we invite guest speakers for trainings every week.
Wow. Well, thank you so much, Elizabeth. This has been such a fun and insightful podcast. But thank you once again. And if you did enjoy this podcast, please like, subscribe, and share. Elizabeth's details, including her website link, will be linked at the bottom in the description and in the comments section. Until then, this is Rishanka Jones signing off.